This is how my car sounds like. It's like something with a fuel injector or something. By the way, the reason why I could never be a lesbian, it feels like the beginning of a speech. Actually it is kind of. The reason why I could never be a lesbian is because I know myself. If there's something that I like, I'm way too direct about it. So, like, you know, where I've talked to you about some things and I'm like, listen, you need to do X, Y, Z. Right now, I'm like that with my roommate because I'm like, you've lied so many times and it's annoyed me and aggravated me. And so, like, I ask questions until my roommate is able to, like, either tell the truth, like, basically tell the truth. If he can't tell the truth, then no, I'm going to ask questions. And it's like, because I'm like, okay, I know this topic enough to realize, like, it's a lie, basically. So, yeah, I'm just like, you've got to be kidding me. But she's very, very, like, open. I'm trying to think how I should word it. Open about the fact that she talks about like homosexuality, and to the point where I'm like, I feel like you're just making this stuff up. Like some of the stuff that she talks about and some of the stories she shared, and I'm like, yeah, because I'm just like, I can't see that happening, like, at all, just from what I know about people, human behavior, things like that. So I'm just like, no. So anyways, but yeah, also again, like, that's why I could never be a lesbian, is because I've read that lesbians are, like, more likely, basically, to do certain behaviors or be, like, a lot more abusive, basically. So, in my case, that's kind of why I like guys a lot more, is because, basically, like, in your case, you know, like, okay, time to simmer down, basically. And you would be able to tell me to simmer down, and I would be more than happy to simmer down. Whereas, like, my mom, for example, it's like, no, like, you tell her to simmer down, she gets mad at you for telling her to simmer down. So it's like, really? Like, really? So anyways, what was it? So yeah, overall, like, just know. But anyways, a couple days ago, so this was on Friday, had the conversation with her about, what was it? What was the initial conversation about? We were talking about something, and I basically mentioned, like, oh, I know how we got onto it. So I told her about a friend of mine. I told her about a friend of mine who was like, yeah, she goes ahead and works out and, like, is super buff, and she's like, oh, that's my kind of woman. Again, she's very open about her sexuality, which is really, like, weird, because I'm like, even straight people don't do that. They're not like, oh yeah, there's that guy. I mean, some people do when they're in high school, but, like, as they get older, they know how to make it more subtle, or they don't really mention it as much. I still remember I met this one Canadian homosexual. Didn't know he was a homosexual for a full, like, few weeks or months. I was like, this is different. Okay. I appreciated that about him, because he wasn't, like, in your face with being a homosexual. And it's like, it feels like, oh, I want you to be a homosexual when you're in somebody else's face about it. It's very... Sorry. It feels very obnoxious, basically. And I'm just like, come on. Like, really? So yeah, I personally enjoyed his company because, again, he isn't in your face about it, which is so annoying. Anyways, so what was it? She, like, one of the things that I was like, that is very inappropriate, is that it was the Christmas party that I went to with her, and I, like, took my own vehicle there and then took my own vehicle back. And so it was during the Christmas party, and what ended up happening was that we were watching a movie, and during the movie it came to a sex scene, and there is some nudity in it. You don't see the whole act, but you just see, like, the nudity, and it's like, oh, like, you know, some of the ladies made comments about the guys, like, oh, you know, if you kiss me like that would be, like, really, really cool. And then she goes ahead and makes a comment, yeah, and she has nice boobs too. And, like, it got quiet, and I'm thinking that was, like, not appropriate. That was not an appropriate comment to make at all. Like, even straight guys, and, like, from what I can tell, bisexual guys know, you don't make those kind of comments in front of other females. Like, even you know that. I mean, like, basically, I know that you know that, but, like, you know that, and, like, other guys, like, they know don't make those kind of comments in front of women. And so I'm just like, I'm thinking that was so, like, inappropriate. Like, so inappropriate. Like, there's a completely different way to come at it. Like, completely different way. And, like, it could have been like, yeah, my best kiss was with a female. That would have been a more appropriate one. Not about the boobs. Like, I'm just like, you've got to be kidding me. So, anyways, that's how in your face she is about it. And it's like, okay, everybody knows you're a lesbian, but also that you make very inappropriate comments. So, anyway, what happened later was that, yeah, so fast forward to a couple days ago, and what was it? We were talking, and I was like, yeah, she's also, like, she's super buff, and I was like, yeah, she's also married to a guy and has 3 kids, and she's like, oh, and I'm just like, man, honestly, like, she's such a Christian, she would be blunt, honest, and direct, like, you need to heal whatever's inside of you, like, she would totally be direct about it, because it's like, you know, you need to be, like, she would be direct like me, basically, but she's a lot more loving, I would have to say. Like, at one point, she was sending a bunch of us females that were in the Christian group at the church, like, scriptures and such. And I was like, this is she's just really, really sweet. And I'm just like, oh, like, I loved it. Absolutely loved it. And then whenever she would see other women, she would be like, hi, beautiful. And, like, it was really sweet. And then also other females just absolutely, like, soaked it up and were like, you know, you made such a difference in my life because of those things that you did. And it was intentional and, like, super loving. And I'm really, really happy for her, especially that take that back. Last time I checked, so she is married. She's definitely married. And she's very, like, this is what the Bible says. This is what I believe. And so she Itchy. Okay. I'm here at the church now. So she believes what the Bible says, and she, like, believes in it. She's very direct, and I do appreciate that about her, but she's also very loving about, like, stuff like that. And I'm like, oh, like, it's great. So, yeah. I appreciate that about her a lot. So anyways, okay, that's not good. Oh yeah, no, definitely not that one. I'm looking at parking spaces. Aww, the baby. She's only like a year old or so. But yeah, so like we were having this conversation. I'm like, yeah, no, she's straight. And she's like, gays can be, or homosexuals can also be Christians. I was like, well, you have the people who believe that being a homosexual, like, you can be a Christian homosexual, and those that are like a non-practicing homosexual. And she's like, what's a non-practicing homosexual? And I was like, well, basically, they are like, they don't do it for Christianity's sake, basically. They're not in a homosexual relationship due to Christianity. And she's like, that's sad. I was like, sad because you're single? Like, I'm single. Like, what are you talking about? And so she was like, no, not the part of like being single, because technically at this point in my life, I'm actually single because of Christianity, because of my beliefs, because I'm like, would I really want to move in with a guy? Like, if I was not a Christian, would I be willing to move in with a guy after like a week, like, or 2 dates? Like, would I? But considering that I am a Christian, like, I'm like, no, I'm not going to move in with you after, like, a week. Literally a week. Like, why would I do that? So, anyways, I realized that I have eczema that popped up on my finger, and it looks really bad. It doesn't itch anymore as of right now. So, yeah. So, yeah, I was, like, explained that to her, and, like, I also explained, like, you know what, what was it, there was this guy I knew years ago, and this was actually at college. You may have known this guy. He was actually, I was like, yeah, like, is your goal basically, like, for them to be happy, for someone to be happy, or is it that they go ahead and be in a homosexual relationship, like, whether they're happy or not? And so I asked that because I was like, yeah, there's this one guy I knew, basically he was miserable. I didn't know why. I just was like, he looks miserable. Someone explained to me that basically he was having sex with his roommate, who was a male. This is at college. And then he also had a girlfriend. And I was like, yeah, whenever he broke up with her, or like, basically he ended things with the guy, he stopped having sex with him. I'm assuming that he was still in a relationship with her, but I'm not entirely sure. But I was like, he stopped basically having sex with the guy. And then I was like, okay, so he stopped having sex with the guy, and then after he stopped having sex with the guy, like, he either was still in a relationship with her or he broke it off with her. And then after that, because, like, the other guy went ahead and told me what was going on, I gave him vague advice because, like, he doesn't want people to know about it. I'm not going to out him. So I'm just like, especially whenever he looks like super depressed, it's like, no, like, well, no. So I was like, yeah, basically I told him, like, read the Bible, pray, things like that, and like focus on that. And I think it was like have good godly counsel, but it's probably like read the Bible and pray. So anyways, Like, what I told my roommate was like, it was vague general advice, like you should go to a counselor. So anyways, that ended up happening. He ended the relationship with the guy, and then he like changed. Basically, he was happy. And so I was like, yeah, the other guy who told me, he was like, he's not having sex with him. That was the part that he was disappointed about. And I was like, but he's happy. Like, who cares if he's having sex with the guy or not? He's happy. And so she's like, he should have stayed with the guy until he, like, realized he was bisexual or gay. But I was like, but he's happy. Like, what does it matter if he's gay or straight? Like, he's happy. That's, like, in this case, that's all that matters. He's miserable. And she's like, I think he was miserable because he was cheating. I'm just like, at one point I asked the question, so, like, basically he just wanted it to fit his agenda and not necessarily because he was happy. And so, like, some of these conversations that I have with my roommate, it's like, I need you to think, like, really, really think about your life, about, like, the choices that you're making, about, like, how you're like, out of what mind frame are you saying these things? Because, like, her saying the comment about, like, nice boobs while we're at a Christmas party was not appropriate. So, yeah. Anyways, gotta go. Love you. Bye.